Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome to another Beekeeping Basics. I brought the camera out to my garage today. It's really chilly this morning. We've had a few quite mild days and the bees have been out flying and gathering pollen and nectar and been doing really well, but the temperature has dropped dramatically today. It's really grey and cloudy outside, so I thought I'd bring the camera back indoors and we'd have a look at some new exciting equipment. I'm delighted to say that today's video is being sponsored by Bee Equipment here in the UK. They're a web-based company that supply a whole range of different beekeeping equipment, and their website, which is www.bee-equipment.co.uk, has got lots of information on all the different products that they sell, and I highly recommend that you pop over and take a look at it. And the very nice people at Bee Equipment have sent me a box of different bits and pieces for me to take a look at and to try out through the coming season. So I've opened the box and laid all the bits and pieces out on the bench here out in the garage, so we can take a look at them. But before we do, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing. We are on the edge of the new beekeeping season. I'm really excited about it and can't wait to get out there and start beekeeping, particularly queen rearing. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and using some of the equipment that I've got for queen rearing and showing you the different techniques that we're going to use. And last but not least, before we get started, a huge thank you to Jacques, who has become our latest patron on our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/Norfolk Honey. I'm able to produce more of these videos now thanks to the support of the patrons that we're building, and I'm releasing lots of patron only information that's available on the Patreon website, and as we get into the season there'll be lots of in-depth information that will appear on the Patreon page only. So if you wouldn't mind taking a look at Patreon and becoming a patron, you can start from as little as $1, and that will help me enormously through this season with building up a bigger library of videos. So let's get down onto the bench here and take a look at the fantastic kit that Bee Equipment have sent us. So there is in fact so much equipment that I think we're going to have to split this over a couple of videos. So we've got a smoker here. I haven't yet opened the box here. We've got some smoker fuel, some starter, some quick start starter sticks, but let's just open the box up and take a look at everything. This is a queen mating nuke. As you can see, the bench is in fact the top of a chest freezer, but let's see what we've got in the nuke box here. This is a queen trap, and you put the frame inside there and that will restrict the queen inside, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Some instructions for comb trapping, and we'll do some comb trapping perhaps in the season. A queen cup starter system, an envelope. Okay, so these are grafting tools. So this is the Easy Grafter, and this one is a Chinese grafting tool, and it has a little plunger on it, so that's quite neat. Some queen cages, plastic bar, oh that's for queen rearing, a queen marking pen, a plunger, some queen cages, different types of queen cages, a little plastic queen grabber, and this is a queen rearing frame, and you can see I've already been playing around with it. Okay, and the nuke box itself has, so this is a Langstroth box, but it has this little insert which converts it to what looks like a National Deep size, so that's quite cool. So although it's a larger box, it will actually take a smaller national frame. So let's go through the equipment piece by piece and talk about what we've got and how we can use it. So what I'm going to do is leave the queen rearing equipment for another video. So we'll put the queen rearing equipment back into the nuke box. And this is a queen mating nuke, so we'll have a look at that on another video as well. And what I'd like to do is to concentrate on the basic equipment. Okay, so what we've got here is a range of equipment that can be used by the beginner beekeeper to help them with their first season. So let's start with the very simple stuff. We've got some quick start fire lighters here, fire starters, and these are, I've used these a couple of times recently, and they're small flammable sticks that when you light them will produce enough heat to then burn maybe the wood pellets. So you could put 3 or 4 of these in the bottom of the smoker, light them, and then they will ignite the wood pellets, which we've got a bag of here. Or you could use these initially to then put underneath some wood shavings. But these, I've found, if you light 3 or 4 of them, they will actually smoulder and release smoke anyway. So if you're just doing a very quick check, then it's worth just putting a few of these in the bottom of the smoker and using those. And they're called quick start fire starters. And this is a bag of wood pellets, and I've poured some out into a bucket here. These are compressed wood, and what I've done is used them by putting the quick starters in the bottom of the smoker and then filling it up with these, and they just smoulder along really well. Whereas you might be going out and picking up maybe some dead logs, using maybe wood shavings, if you can get hessian. There's lots of different materials that you can use, but if you're struggling to find something to use that you can get used to, so when you're using smoker fuel, it's nice if you've got the same material to burn each time, because you can then gauge how long it's going to last and how useful it is and what kind of smoke you get from it. So what I would do is use these and then just plug up the top of the smoker with some grass or something that's going to prevent the pellets from falling out the top, because when you point the smoker down into the hive, the pellets are going to fall out the top. So you just simply put a piece of grass in the top and plug it up. But they're really good, so they're well worth the small investment. This is a plunger. I suspect this is for queen marking. If you're not confident at picking up the queen and marking the queen while you're handling her, then this is a really good little tool that you can use. So you can chase the queen into the plunger, pop this has some foam on the top, so you've got a foam pad. Once you've got the queen in, you can pop the plunger in and very gently ease it to the top. And once you've got it to the top, if I put a pellet in, let's pretend that's the queen. So you push it to the top, and then when you've got the queen trapped, you can hold her against this cage at the top and use a marker pen to actually mark the queen inside perfectly safely and without doing any damage. Obviously if you press too hard you're going to end up squashing your queen, but for those of you that are a little bit nervous about handling a queen, then that's quite a good alternative. So that's quite good, and we'll show you how to use that when we get some queens in the summer. And this is a queen catcher, so it's a little plastic spring-loaded cage, and so what you can do, again, let's use one of these pellets. There's the queen. You can just simply pick her up, and then you've got her in the cage. The workers can get through these little slots, but the queen's then stuck inside, and you could then transfer her into the plunger. Like so. And then you've got the queen there, and you can ease her up to the top again. So again, if you're nervous about picking up your queen, then these little queen catchers are quite useful. And then once you've got your queen in the plunger, you're going to need a pen to be able to mark her with, and this year it's a yellow pen, but I also use these pens. I go through these pens quite a lot because what I also use them for is to write on the roof of the hive any pertinent information. So you give it a shake and then you've got just a nice bullet tip on the top there, and what you do is you just plunge it down a few times to get the paint to come down from the pen. Okay, so now we've loaded the tip, and you can see you can get a nice dot with which you can mark your queen with, and they work really well. But as I say, I also use it to write information on top of the hive if there's something that I want to remember the next time I'm inspecting. So that's the queen marking equipment. Here we've got some smoker fuel. This looks like some cotton. So again, we can use this instead of the pellets. So this is so this is coarse cotton, and you can use this, and this will smoulder again quite nicely. So here we've got a smoker, and this one I think is going to be quite useful. First of all, when you buy a smoker, make sure you buy the largest size that you can afford. You don't want to have a really small smoker, put some fuel in it, get halfway through an inspection and then find that your smoker runs out of fuel. You'll be constantly topping it up. So get a larger smoker. This is one of the biggest ones. If you got one about 2/3 this height, that would certainly be great for any backyard beekeeping, and you wouldn't need to top it up a great deal. The difference with this one and the other smokers that I've purchased in the past is that this one has plastic bellows on it, and I think this is going to be really useful because these are going to be really washable, whereas the others tend to be made of wood and have cloth or leather across the bellows structure itself. They're always quite difficult to clean, but I think when you get propolis on this is going to wash off really easily, and you can always unscrew them and replace the bellows, so that works really well. It comes with some details about the quick starter smoker pellets, and you also get a sample of the quick starter pellets in here as well. The other thing to say is that the smoker needs to have a cage on it. Make sure that whatever smoker you buy has one of these cages, because if you don't have a cage, the inside of this and the base get really hot and you will burn yourself very badly if you don't have a cage on your smoker. Don't go for a cheap smoker that doesn't have a cage on it. And then in the bottom there's usually, I don't know whether you can see that, but in the bottom there's usually a grid of some sort that stops the ash from going down into the bottom of the smoker and allows the airflow to come through the bellows at the back here and through into the smoker to keep it burning. So that's the smoker. That looks really good. And then finally for today, we've got this strange looking piece of kit, and the main purpose of this is for comb trapping. So this is queen excluder material, and what you would do is in order to help with an integrated pest management control system for Varroa, you would trap the queen in here on a comb, close it up and put her back into the hive, and then over a period of time you remove the combs and swap them up and swap them out, and then keep the queen in here so that she's trapped on that particular comb, and that way you can remove the comb and it will have the Varroa trapped inside. And we'll perhaps give a demonstration of that through the summer. The other option that people perhaps don't use with this, and my top tip of the day, is that you can use this to get the queen to produce drones for you. So if you specifically want to flood your apiary, perhaps a queen rearing apiary, with drones, you could put drone foundation in a comb, get the bees to draw it, and then once it's drawn, pop that in here with the queen, again trap her in the cage, and then you've got a perfect space for the queen to produce lots of drones. So that's going to be fantastic, and we'll use that in the coming season, and I'll give a demonstration of how we produce drones using this, because we do want to get lots of drones in our queen mating apiary. So there we are, that's all of the equipment that I'm going to show today in this video. We've got the wood pellets, we've got the cotton smoker fuel, the quick start fire starters which are really effective, the marker pens which come in a range of different colours and have multiple uses, not just for marking your queen, the queen plunger. If you're nervous about handling the queen, then the queen plunger is definitely something that you could try, and the little queen catching cage. We've got the comb trapping grid, the frame goes inside. Let's just pop a frame in to show you. So the frame goes inside and then it closes up, and this fantastic smoker with the plastic bellows, which I think are going to be really effective. So there's part one of the bee equipment product review. I hope you enjoyed that. Lots of really good stuff there for the beginner beekeeper. In the next bee equipment review that we'll do, I'll look at the rest of the equipment that they've sent me, all of the queen rearing stuff that looks really exciting, some of which I've not used before, and I'm really looking forward to showing you that and then taking it out into the field and using it. So finally, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share us with all the social media outlets that I know you guys are attached to. Don't forget that we are on Facebook now. We have the beekeeping group, which is Stuart's Beekeeping Basics. You'd be very welcome to join us there and to join in the conversation and the chat that's starting to grow every day. So I'm really pleased about that, and thank you everyone for your contributions to that growing Facebook group. Don't forget that if you become a patron, you'll have access to lots of patron only information and early release videos and lots of photographs of all types of things related to beekeeping. We're going to have some question and answer sessions and start to build that community as well. So please do take a look. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch up with you again next time. But for now, thanks for watching.